isn't a touchscreen game technically hands-on anyway? Whatever you say, game. Ooh, what is this? Usual Suspects, I see. Oh, this is the Usual Suspects limited edition collector case. Good, why not? Is that a Laserdisc player? No, it isn't. I don't care then. Abbott and Costello dolls.
Okay, so I'm done recapping this chassis. There's actually how many? Over 36 caps in there. And what's interesting is you see these, hold on, you see these maybe here, these traces here. Let's see if I can focus. So it has those surface traces, and some of them were pretty badly corroded, as you can see here. So I had to add jumpers just to reconnect them some places, and there's a few other. There's one here that I could actually save by just reapplying solder and to fix the trace, but I'm not sure. There's a couple of caps here that are tough to get to as well, so this is going to be interesting. I'm not sure if that'll fix our problem. This is just my first and last attempt at fixing this chassis because, like I said, the flyback, you can't find those anymore specifically for this. So if that doesn't work, I'm not gonna do much more investigation than this. I might salvage some parts from it, probably the pots and stuff like that, and then I'll use the tube as a replacement tube for something else, and I'll probably put a VGA CRT in this because I'm going to use a 16 one, but we'll see if this works. If it works, all good and well. If not, we'll go to plan B. So let's try and plug this back in. Okay, so well, we got everything plugged in. This is actually quite a bit of a hassle putting this together down there, but moment of truth, I've plugged it in. Just the switch here. I don't hear any fizzy sounds. Well, look at that. We got something happening. Anyway, looks like we've no sync, but that's not hard to see why. Let me grab a PCB, see what happens. Oh, this is great news. Well, I think I may have spoken too soon. So I got the 16 one here just plugged in, and it worked for a while, and then it goes into shutdown mode. It shuts down essentially. So I'll just show you. If I switch it on, you're gonna hear a little click after a few seconds. Now it ran for about a minute or two. It even displayed the demos of some of the games, and then it shut down. And now you heard that click, that little click there that you heard. Anyway, so yeah, I could spend a lot of time trying to fix this guy. Is it worth it? I'm not sure. There's not much info on these. It could be anything. I've no way, because the transformer is inside there. I've no way to actually bring it onto the bench. It's messy to put in. It's really, really messy to put in. So I think my option is going to be to get a VGA monitor, which is fine because this thing can actually output to VGA. So we'll be okay with that. Let's see if I can wait a few seconds. Yeah, you heard that little squeak. So I don't know what that is. If somebody knows in the comments, actually, feel free to comment. But I think at this stage I could spend way too long, and I really want to get this thing out of here so I can start working on this cab. So I'm just gonna get one of these guys, VGA monitor, and put that onto here. I have a few upstairs, so it's gonna be interesting to see if it fits first. I'm not sure. Obviously we're gonna have to disconnect everything, and then yeah, let's try that. Worst case scenario is I've a spare 14-inch, not this model, but easier to manage, and I know it works. I was hoping to use it for that, but then again I have a 19-inch that I would love to try in on this for R-Type to get a big wide display, so we'll see. There you go, folks. So I had a bit of a change of plan from my plan B, essentially, because this is my original tube monitor. But so that's still not working. It still fails. I put a 16, that's a 16 one there. So you get all these games to choose from. Very, very cool little yoke. But so this is my chassis here. It's still not working. And then I tried to get a VGA monitor, but these are actually slightly larger. They're 15 inches, aren't they? They're over here, which means I would have had to do a lot of. There it is. So I actually opened the box, stripped that out, and I couldn't fit it in there. And then I could have actually fitted it in there, drill holes in the metal frame and that kind of stuff. But then the chassis, the motherboard of the monitor, I couldn't fit that anywhere. So I ended up I had a 14-inch monitor that came out of this guy. So I thought I would use that instead and try the 16 one. So it took a bit of tinkering because well, I can't move that, but the power, can I maybe, let me get the flash on this. Let's try this again. So you can see those power connector there didn't fit. I had to redo the lead, add just one of those connectors, and then I used the existing plug from the this guy here, this plug right at the end of my finger over there, that's the existing VGA lead plug. And am I still yeah, I think I have color issues there. Is that we'll see. No, actually that's just contrast and brightness and that kind of stuff. There you go. And so I had to do a lot of just tinkering and rewiring stuff. Not complicated, just messy. So I'll have to find a better way, because right now I just have those leads, you see, going directly. I don't have a socket for this, so I'll have to find one. I'll have to tidy this, tidy all the wiring. But that's yeah, I'm gonna do that next. Just find a better way to secure this chassis board to the frame, and then you know, get all the fittings back in. But after this, I need to take care of the glass, find a better glass, and then find what game I'm gonna put in this. Although, I mean, I was gonna put just Frogger, but I kind of like the idea of having all those games. Although I find that when I have too many games, I don't play them necessarily, so it's probably best to have just a handful of games, which you can do from the 16 one. You can set it to a specific game to boot in, and it'll save you, I hope actually, save you all that boot sequence where it looks for all the games. But anyway, we've a working board, and I never really used the 16 one, but you can scroll to all those games, the 60 games. What's this one? Italian. Yeah, not all the games are emulated perfectly. Far from it. Some of them have sound issues, but I mean the Donkey Kong ones apparently are okay, and whatever here, all the Pac-Man ones are okay, but Frogger is fine, which was my initial thought. Just put Frogger in there. Oh! Sync back. There you go. Yeah, and I'm gonna have to clean the connectors on this because this sync is a bit funny. Yeah, it's clear. I'm gonna have to reflow that guy. Yeah, it's okay. And then it's great though that it's an external board, but with it, yeah, it comes those small sink issues sometimes because they're quite, they're solicited a lot. Yeah, I can see some of the connectors might be dirty. Not as dirty as my hands though, but yeah, not a big deal. It's a job for another time. Okay, let's keep working. Something beautiful has happened, folks. So when I was, before I was repairing the monitor, I was actually in two minds about this cab, and I said to Fiona, I said, look, I might actually sell it and get an upright cab instead. And she was like, oh no, you can't sell it. It's really cool. And she said, how about, because we don't have a coffee table, so how about you bring that and we use that as a coffee table. So it was pretty much her decision to bring this cab into the house. I've always tried not to bring this into the house, but here it is. And actually we've had it for a few days now, and it works well. So the cab is not finished, and neither is this video, as you can see, but essentially there's still a couple of jobs we have to do. So the monitor is there. I've set up the arcade, the 16 one, to just play Frogger when you start it, and I have my adjustment board here for the monitor. All is working well. Really, I don't actually need most of that, and there's the original transformer, isolation transformer for the original monitor. It probably doesn't need to be there, but I'll leave it here for now. But as you can see, the glass is just badly scratched, and I try to actually just use a homemade compound, which actually just got into the crack and made it look a lot worse. Actually, the camera and the light make it look even worse than it seems. Probably looks like that in real life, the angle was kind of funny. It's interesting actually, different angles make it compact. Yeah, it probably looks like that more than like this, but it's still scratched pretty bad. So I've actually ordered, because I don't have any abrasive that would actually take this down. I'm not even sure if this will work, so I've ordered kits that you'd use for cars and car windows, and we'll see what happens. So that's the next job I need to do. And then you can see all this kind of discoloration. Oh geez, very greasy fingers. Discoloration. So I'm actually gonna have to strip the paint from the back altogether. You can see here, like it was all, there's a lot of traces of tape and all that, so I'm gonna have to strip the back and redo all these lines a lot cleaner, because they're not super tidy and clean. You can see this. I mean, in the room when you're playing, it doesn't matter, but if this is becoming a feature in the room, I want it as clean as I can make it, which might not be as clean as some people like it, but these are the original fittings. I think they're still okay. I'm not gonna order any more corner fittings. I could look into fixing this, but I sort of like the dents. Maybe in time I might just try to color match them with paint, acrylic paint, and redo. That might be a cool little job, but for now I think the glass is the big one, and then the legs came out really well, so I'm gonna wait for that. And then there's a problem, because you see this control panel, it's either from Lupin 3 or is it Space Chaser or something like that, and on the other side is a hack job of some other control panel, or it looks like it's a marquee from another game, and then we're missing the button here. It's actually present. If we look here, there is actually a hole for the button. You can see it here, one or two or whatever. Yeah, here there's actually two holes, button 1 and 2, I'd say. Is there 3? Might be 3. Oh god, 1, 2. Yeah, there's 3 places for holes. interesting. I think one of them is centered. That's probably the original one. These ones were drilled afterwards. But so I want the two control panels to match, but at least I want an original Taito control panel, because this is just horrible. And then it means for Frogger it's fine, I can select 1 or 2 player, but if I want to play something that other than Frogger actually kicks, would be a great game to play on this, and obviously I can't now. So I might have sourced one. I'm waiting for a reply. Otherwise, yeah, I need to put a few ads here and there and try to source one. Anyway, I'm gonna wait for that glass thing to arrive. I'll probably be doing that first, and then we'll worry about the panel. Let's keep working. Okay, so I have my glass here, and we're gonna start sanding. There's no way around this. You need, if you want to polish and clean scratches, you need to sand the glass. Now these are deep enough scratches, and I'm just gonna do a few test passes with maybe 150 grit and see what I can easily take out. The glass will for a while look like it has well, a lot more scratches, but it'll have that kind of white-ish sort of haze, and then we'll sand it back down with lighter and lighter sand pads, and then a whatever buffing agent powder thing. But let's get started. I'm gonna use the drill and just put a pad on that, because all I have is small pads for this. So let's start. So what have we here? Yeah, it's not bad. There's still a few scratches here and there, but it's gotten rid of all these. Let me just take this camera. So this is with the higher abrasive. I think this is 100 or something, and then you can see all these scratches here. It's slowly removing them. It's going to take a lot of elbow grease for all of this, but that's okay. So I'm going to keep going. I'll probably be at this for, I'd say probably half an hour, and then I'll have to change the abrasive, the other abrasive. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with what it's doing to it, and it should get that sort of milky white, you know, finish first. You're making it worse before you make it better is the idea here, and then we'll sand this back down to clear. Time to get the big guns! Okay, so this is after doing some heavy sanding on this glass. Let me focus this a bit. And I've removed most of the deeper scratches. There's still a few here. They're actually pretty visible because some of the dust actually just went in. But these are remnants of the old scratches. This was the most affected area here, and here was pretty bad as well. There's still some of the remnants of the deeper scratches, but overall it's quite a great improvement. So I sanded it. I started with 60 grit, moved to, I think it was 100, 150, 400, 600, 1,500, and then I finished with 2,000. I'll probably do another pass at 2,000, and then move on to the polish. But first you can see I've marked my areas where the paint underneath starts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this over like so. I'm trying not to break the glass, and I'm gonna strip all this paint off using some just paint remover stripper. You can see it's been repainted a few times. It's cracking in places. It's just not great. So, jeez, actually look at that. Yeah. So I might actually need to scuff it a bit, even just for the paint to stick better. But I've got automotive paint, so that should actually do the job. I've done that on my Double Dragon cab at some point, so it should work fine on glass. But as you can see, I've marked here. So what I'll do when the paint is removed, I will actually just put masking tape on the inside of those lines, and then I can just spray paint easily. I know exactly. I don't need to worry about, you know, keeping this. But yeah, I mean, this is not great. So let's use this. I'd say about 10 minutes will do to remove all that. It should flake off easily, hopefully. There you go, I've masked off the back. That should remain clear. I've seen some photos of some cabs that have a small square here with an insert coin sign and a small arrow, but this one didn't have it, so I'm assuming it wasn't there, or yeah, I'm not sure, but I'm not going to put it in this case. Some people might be wondering why, instead of just sanding the bottom and glossing it, I'm not flipping the glass over, and that's because here there's a small Taito logo. See if I can just reveal it. It's kind of hard to see. It's actually etched into the glass, but no, I can't. It's right here under. Yeah, there you go. Can I just make it out? And that needs to be in this corner on the other side, and obviously in the right. So you know, not inside down. This would be, all the letters would be reversed. So this is not really an option. So that's why I didn't flip the glass. So this is ready to paint. I have some car gloss paint. So where I'm gonna see, yeah, that does. It needs to dry a bit. It's not very dry and warm, but I'm gonna bring it inside beside the heater to let it dry. I'll probably have to do a few coats, maybe 2 or 3. So let's get going. And there you go, folks. Here's the glass, all done. Well, pretty much. It's been here actually for a while, so there's some blemish due from, you know, putting in my hands on it and everything. But I got rid of most of the scratches. You can still see some of it actually pretty well with the camera because it shines the flash. But let me see if I can turn this off. Yeah, there you go. That's actually much better when you're not sending a light to it. You know what? It's not perfect. There's still a few scratches here and there. These were very, very deep, and I don't think I can get rid of them without sanding even further. There's still a big one here, and a few here and there. This corner was especially bad. The worst affected area was around here, and I'm glad I saved the Taito sign. You couldn't see that before, really, not that clear. So most of those scratches are gone. It's looking really nice, I have to say. Very happy with it. And that screen is probably a bit too strong. I need to tone that down because the black is looking like it's purple. But anyway, and yeah, overall, yeah, I'm pretty happy with the this conversion. So I still haven't found a panel for this. I've had a couple of people tell me they had a similar panel like the one that's on the other side. One guy had the same as the on the side, which doesn't have the room for those 2 buttons, but it's fine. I could actually just, I suppose, drill. I'd rather not though, so I might get it from him. He's back. I think he's away, he said, so he's back in November, so I'm gonna have to contact him then, and that's my plan next. But I think for the purposes of this video, we've got a full restoration. It's looking pretty nice, I have to say. Pretty happy with it, and I think we can stop the video here. So this is the panel I'm looking for. I still need to get flyers for here, but because this is a Taito cab and Frogger was Konami and Sega and a few different people, but this wasn't in that Taito format. There's no flyers that size for Frogger, so I'm gonna have either to make one. The cocktail Frogger sign is much bigger, so it wouldn't fit here, so I'll have to make either a smaller one or just put a generic Taito one like for Space Invader, but I'm gonna try and make my own. Again, this is probably for another video. This has been, you know, long enough, and in this video I think we can pretty much finish it here. It looks really cool, I have to say. Folks, I hope this was interesting. As usual, Discord, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that kind of stuff. Links are in the description, and this Patreon if you want to help the channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.